All right, pretty stoked today. I've been holding on to these Unicorn 31M AGM die-hard batteries that used to be available at Sears. This has been my camping battery that I've taken with me, on trails and whatnot for the last 5 years or so. Amazing battery. Basically rebranded Odysseys. They have like 1,150 cold cranking amps, so you can pretty much crank anything. You can run a pretty significant amount of power. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it's about 105 amp hours you can kind of get out of these guys. So finally, I was able to get all the parts I need to install this appropriately. So one is the cage for it. So obviously it's a lot heavier than the stock battery, so you need a lot more. I got kind of lucky, and I actually found a brand new Pelfrey built battery cage. RIP to Pelfrey, the Pelfrey built guys. They made some great stuff, and it's a shame they couldn't keep going. But happy to be able to find this and locate this guy. It was brand new, and it was like kind of the last piece I needed. So we got that, and then the other. So, and then one reason why I was kind of pushing back to install this, for those of you who are kind of 12-volt guys, you'll know that these AGM batteries, they charge at a little bit higher voltage. So the required voltage to actually get these to 100% is about 14.7. And a typical alternator, for example, like my Tacoma, the stock voltage might go to like 14.2, 14.3 max. And so it actually doesn't top these off completely. And so that's why a lot of people actually have issues if they just basically throw an AGM battery into their stock truck. It can cause some issues. So I normally use a battery charger, like an AC charger, to kind of get this up to 14.7. But now that we're installing the truck, we've got to be able to kind of make sure that this thing gets fully charged, because these things aren't cheap, and the last thing you want to do is crush the life of them because they're not properly charging them. So in order to kind of get the appropriate voltage up to be able to charge these, there's a company called HKB Electronics out of Australia, and they actually make these voltage boosters. Where basically there are these little fuses that you basically replace your alternator fuse in your engine bay. This is supposed to boost your charging voltage to about 0.5. They have a little more advanced one where you can actually select how much voltage you want to go up by 0.1 increments. But this one is just kind of their plug and place replacement fuse that should be about 0.5. So that should be about 14.7. So I'm really excited to finally get this in the mail. It kind of took a while, obviously, with COVID and just getting this from Australia, so that kind of took a minute. And to kind of just look over the voltages to see kind of where we're at now, but also to make sure these things are appropriate charging. And I know there's a lot more advanced and more expensive battery monitors. There's the Blue Seas, there's the National Luna kits and all that kind of stuff. So but I just kind of got this little guy from Amazon for now. It's just a little Bluetooth monitor that basically just hooks up to the battery, and it just gives a little Bluetooth signal so I can see it from my phone, and then it'll actually keep track of it. So instead of just giving a real-time reading, it'll actually historically keep track, so I can make sure that different situations and different driving situations that the voltages are correct, and that way I can monitor that in real time. So excited to get that in as well. So it's just this quick little guys. I'm just going to get this installed before we start getting the winch hooked up and start worrying about the 12 volt for the cab and whatnot. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is install this guy, this little battery monitor, this Ancel, just Bluetooth, little monitor. We're just going to put it on the stock battery before we put it on, so that way I can just get like a base reading to see kind of what the current voltage is at between this and the scan gauge. So we just at least get multiple signals. At least we can see what's going on with the voltage and just get a good baseline.
Super small. So I think I have the app on my phone.
And then all I'm going to do is just basically connect these terminals to these guys right here. Okay, now all we're gonna do is just basically plop this right there, stick that guy on, tighten this back up real quick. And don't worry, I'm not too worried about making this too clean just because this battery's about to come back out, so. Just gonna leave that for now because we don't make it too tight. So as long as I'm getting a reading. So let's see if this is working. Go to this, my handy dandy ancel. All right, cool. So now we can see that we are 12.81 on the stock battery. So about fully charged right now. This is awesome. So you can check your cranking test. You can idle conditions, test all that. So trip data, charging tests. That's cool. Turn off a device. Oh, says turn on headlights only. Cranking test and voltage. So let's go ahead and give it a crank and see how this works. So we're just gonna put this guy right here. This is great because it's Bluetooth, you know, so it's in the cab. I'll have a nice little. Okay, so turn this off. Unplug all my accessories. Okay, and then we start it. So you can already see the voltage kind of already going down as I'm using my equipment. So we'll turn that off. There you go. Oh, well, and it looks like the ground died. So, gotta tighten that ground. This again. Okay, turn this guy off. All right. All right, so now you can see, so you can already see the voltage is going up, it's charging, which is great, so that's working. So cranking test, you can see 30.95, cranking voltages, so it's low voltage. Charging test, start test. So under load, you go to 2,500 RPM. Hold this for 5 seconds. All right, so charging at idle speed 14.6 and high RPM 14.2. Okay, so that's at standard. For some reason my scan gauge isn't working right now. Let me try to. See if we can get this. All right, seems to be working now. That was weird. Had to do a little. All right, so we see the charge. So we're reading about 14 point, let's see, about 1.6 right now, 14.15. So we'll check this guy and go to voltage. All right, so 14.1, 14.2, 14.1. All right, so they're pretty close, which is good. It's nice to see that one, the app is accurate, but it's relatively accurate with my scan gauge. So it says that it's good. So what we're gonna do is, now that we have kind of this baseline, we can see it's, you know, kind of 14.1 or so. Now we're gonna plug in the new HKB Electronics fuse, and then see that this voltage hopefully should go up about a 0.5 or so. A shout out to Kurt from the Expedition Overland guys. He kind of gave me a little heads up about this because we were talking about this exact issue with the AGM batteries not being the voltage up. So he gave me this little awesome, you know, 2 cents about these guys from HKB who make these little voltage boosters. So I should be able to get my voltage up from, you know, the 14.1 that we were seeing to the 14.6, 14.7 that I need to get that AGM battery fully charged. So first we're going to put this in and just test the voltage out and everything before we kind of go any further. So first we're just going to take the fuse box out of here. Then if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's that 7.5. Yep, so 7.5 Alt S, which I think is, yeah, so 7.5. Okay, so it's this 7.5 guy here. So all we're gonna do is just, actually, well, first, should unplug your ground so you don't do anything that you're not supposed to. Almost a little rookie mistake there. So I'm just gonna plug this guy out. Okay. Put him in a little safe space. Okay. And then what we're gonna do is grab the booster here from HKB. This is it. So yeah, simple and effective. I wonder how many fuses they've had to misplace before thinking up to do with this, but so you can, I don't know if you can see on that, but it's got a little 7.5, and hopefully this boosts up the voltage a little bit. So I just pop that guy in, and that's it. So now we're gonna hook this back up and then do another charge test, and hopefully the voltage does what it's supposed to, and it's higher. So let's put this back on. That. Okay. So as you can see, 12.8, pretty standard. All right. Let's see what we're doing. 14.2, 4.3, So let's just go ahead and do a little test again. So 14.3, 14.2, so it is going up a little bit. Let's go ahead and do another test. Up to 2,500 RPM. All right, so we're not seeing too much voltage change at the moment. 14.2. So and honestly, that could be very well because the battery doesn't need to be charged. So let's try this with the AGM and then see, install it and see if this changes at all. So this is actually pretty good. Just another reason why you should make sure to read the directions. Sorry for the red light, guys. But basically on the directions provided, it says turn on, start the engine, look at the instrument cluster, check out the battery lamp extinguishes, which I don't know if you can see, but it's that red light still on. So what it says, if it remains lit, turn off the ignition, remove the booster, and reinsert it the opposite direction. So we'll try that. Alright, so we're gonna try this again. See this, the battery light goes off like it's supposed to. Alright, 14. There we go. 14.78, 14.8, 14.7. Up top, 14.9. 14.8, there we go, 14.76, that's what I'm talking about. So now we're within the range where we can charge that AGM.
Yeah, that's the difference. Just be careful when I use them. I think it happens because usually the voltage is so far like this. So it's good. Yeah, I don't have any for it.
Battery tray out. Battery cage in.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Good. First, we're gonna install these big guys, these big J hooks.
Keep the washers out of here.
So basically, we're just, if you can see that, basically the stock hole. Just basically thread that up. And kind of just drop it right down there like that. Drop your washer on. And then I'm just gonna hand tighten these for now.
Get the other one. So this one faces out to the fuse box. Pop the washer on. 14 years. Alright, now I think that's a lot more solid than the factory one for sure. Strap that guy down. That's 14. Cool. I'll need a bigger stick. Alright, so try to do this evenly. Actually, need a deep socket here. Don't even have to not make it too tight before I put the top on actually. Otherwise it pulleys the sides apart. Alright, so let's drop the big boy in. Awesome. That's like a glove.
Excited to get this battery in the truck. I've been using it for camping for so long, and these are just amazing. I wish Sear didn't stop selling them. I mean, you can get the Odyssey ones, the ones that are directly from Odyssey, but they're just kind of pricey, to be honest. So, all right, let's get this cage on.
So you can see it gap a little bit. I think we can pin it to be like that so you can get some clamping on it. These little lock washers and put them on there. Hand tighten it up for now. Get the audio on. Alright, 2 washers here, so I'm going to lock it actually. There you go. The regular washer, I think it's actually supposed to be like that, so it's scratch. Scratch it up. Not quite. Working on it, bigger than that. Okay, maybe a 10. We got a 10 now, which is going to add extra washers on this side. I want to scratch this nice steel. I think I might have this little gap between the two layers, so the bolts don't just like fall down when you undo them, kind of sitting there. Let's try this again. Alright, there you go. So, I'm going to tighten these guys real quick. around here, so I'll tighten this one. Snug. Let's see, going anywhere. But now I gotta tighten up these J-hooks. Shows me definitely not going anywhere. I'm bending a little bit. It's not bad.
I don't think that guy is going anywhere. Yeah, let's shake the whole truck. Cool. All right, so now we can get this all wired back up. Do a final test with the meters and make sure that everything is working. So I'm gonna go ahead and attach the voltmeter. Of course, it's a little too small. A little wedge. Okay. Okay. So just from seeing that, so you can see we're about 13 volts right now. So that definitely a little more warmer. So go ahead and put this guy on. Oh, it's a little. A little tight. Okay, you know what? And those are from me anyways, so take those off. Okay. Get 12. Should have did this before I took it off the other terminal. There we go. So this is basically just extra accessories. So I'm just gonna add these guys here. And of course, it's a little tight. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna clean this up just a little bit. I don't like how all these are crisscrossing and stuff. I can go there, go there. A lot cleaner. loosen this guy up a little more because this is a big terminal. And there we go. So now we have the 31M all installed. So final test. Let's just go ahead and start her up again and make sure charge voltages are all correct, and then we're good to go. To our nice handy dandy charger. Okay, so we got 14.89, 12.89 right now. Man, a lot more power. Yeah, cranking 11.59. And it needs to be charged a little bit. See, 14.8. All right, so it looks like we're 14.8. Yeah, so we're looking good. 14.81, 14.8, 14.9. You guys can see that. And there we go. We have a high voltage charge for the AGM. Hell yeah! So we're gonna just do a little charge test again. Start testing 2500. All right, so great. 14.84, 14.78. So obviously it does say red, high charging voltage. That's because it is higher than the stock voltage. But in this sense, it's perfect because it's exactly what it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to max out at 14.8, 14.9 anyways. So I think we're right on the dot. So super stoked. Finally have this AGM in, big battery, big capacity, and yeah, look out for the next video. Now we can install the winch, and I have a cool little here, I'll show you guys. All right, so now that we got this big guy, you know, installed, now we can kind of go to the next part of my electrical build out. So I was able to get this Badland winch, 9K winch, with the hitch mount from Harbor Freight for pretty cheap. So basically, what we're gonna do is, instead of waiting to get get the bumper and the steel bumper and all that, which is nice and it's planned, it's coming. But just at the current moment, it's just priorities when it comes to the resources, and that's kind of always the goal here. So I'm actually I'm gonna get a hidden receiver, so you can use in the front and back. And honestly, personally, I like being able to use the winch on the front and the back of the truck. And so with that being said, we kind of have to run new lines. And so what I'm planning on doing is running some pretty heavy duty 4.0 battery wire. And basically put 2 Anderson plugs, which are these genderless connectors, that kind of high amperage connectors. And I'm going to put one right here in the front for the front winch, and then I'm also going to put one in the run one back to inside the bed for the rear. And what's cool about these connectors is, like, I'm going to kind of use them for one jumper cables, so you can cut the ends off and then add the connector to it, so you can attach attach a I'm just talking about it. So obviously the winch, attach jumper cables. Then I also have a 3000 watt inverter I'm gonna put the clip on as well. So basically, you know, I have these hookups on the front and back of the car where I can attach a jumper cable, the winch, my inverter, or any other really high amperage electronics. I'll have access to the front and back for this. So I'm excited for that. And you know, and all of that will be cheaper than just getting a steel bumper to mount it to. At the same time, it's a little more useful and modular with the use, instead of just having, you know, a permanently mounted winch here, you know, and then not have access to the battery bank, you know, anywhere in the car. So look out, guys, and there's a lot more to come.